Ryan Seacrest and Ellen Kay.
Yes.
So I'm going to grab a very, very good friend of mine. He is the godfather, if you will, when you think of the entire universe that is music. He is the El Padrino, which I think is Godfather as well.
En español.
Thank you, Ellen. Clive Davis, my friend, how are you?
I'm very well. Good to be with you.
Good to have you on. So I was just a few minutes ago telling Ellen the story of you calling me, and I was in my car, and you set up this amazing song that you actually played for me over the phone, and I was so touched by the story, and this comes in the context of Whitney Houston. Obviously, the world lost an incredible woman in talent, and Whitney Houston not too long ago, but something magical has come out of that. Can you tell the world this story?
I will. I'm doing it just like the first time I've ever done this, but I think it's special. I think that when your audience hears it, they'll remember the first time that they heard it. With great records, that's what happens. And after Whitney had passed away, immediately after she had passed away, I got familiar with a recording that she had made when she had done the I Look to You album. Mm-hmm. And she went through a period of about 10 days of extensive dental work when the dentist really had removed the nicotine from her throat and had really commanded her not to smoke cigarettes. And during that period, she went into a studio by herself in Los Angeles and recorded 2 verses and a chorus of the song I Look to You, which RKelly had written for her and for our album. And I was just knocked out by it. I mean, to hear Whitney as Whitney again, to hear her, the full flower of her voice, really both showed the potential when she was ready to record again. And so when we were planning the funeral service and I obtained the secular artist, I put in a call to Robert RKelly and asked him if he wanted at the funeral sing I Look to You, which he did with a choir, and there really was not a dry eye in the house. And I noticed when I got back to my office and checked Amazon that performance by RKelly had caused the album, and it did for the next month and a half, go to number 3 on the Amazon chart. So I'm very conscious of Whitney's legacy. I'm obviously a guardian of that legacy, and I really decided that I would try to put the 2 together. I would put together the 2 verses and chorus that Whitney had sung, leading into the funeral performance of RKelly with the choir that was so moving and touching. And I asked Robert, do me a favor, come back in the studio, and I just need a little verse from you so that we could have the complete record. He was floored when he heard Whitney's performance. And what you're going to hear really is a record that is now available for downloading on iTunes. It just came out this morning, and you're going to hear what I think is a newly born classic.
All right, let me play it with that setup in mind. It is called I Look to You. Listen, that is a piece of history right there. You're listening to the vocals of Whitney Houston and RKelly, who's resurrected an unreleased exclusive track of Whitney's I Look to You. There made it a duet. Clive Davis on the line with us, just listening to that back, how powerful it is, Clive. And the message there is finding strength through adversity, which I know was really important to Whitney after some of the things that she went through.
That's so true. I mean, with all the press and the publicity about Whitney, what is also forgotten is her love of music, her passion for music. And that was the constant. I met her when she was 19, doing that 2 songs in a mother's act, and signed her, and of course, worked with her, side by side for her whole professional life. And so I obviously got to know her well, and she was indeed a very special person.
That's amazing. I looked you, Whitney and RKelly, available on iTunes today from the album I Will Always Love You, the best of Whitney Houston, which is coming out on iTunes November 13th. Hey, Clive, obviously, as you just said, you discovered her. You were a dear, dear friend to her and to the family. Are you in touch with Bobbi Kristina? How is she doing?
Well, from what I gather, she's doing well. She lives in Atlanta. We're all really getting ready. There's going to be a network special on CBS that we're taping on October 11th. And so that I'm in touch certainly with Pat, and I played this record for Sissy, and obviously, she started sobbing when she heard it, and hear Whitney in such a great voice and wonderful song. But yes, I'm very much in touch with the family.
Good. Well, I know that when we spoke on the phone, how important this was for you to share this story, and I'm very, very honored and flattered that you chose to do it here. Clive Davis, the man behind so much. I wonder, just sort of as we shift gears and think about the future, what kind of artists can achieve this type of career these days? Can they?
It's very difficult. I would say that the one shining example this past year really was Adele. And, counted to all the electronic dance music, counted to all that's going on in hip-hop, you do have a voice and you do have songs that really are definitely reminiscent of the great song era. And so to see Adele, really loft way above the rest of the industry, because an average album bestseller,
yeah.
I mean, you were doing great if you sell over 1 million copies today, and now here's Adele approaching 10 million just in the United States, with another 10 million abroad. So that's heartening, because great songs, I'm a great believer in the Great American Songbook, as you know. And I think, yes, I'm optimistic that it could still happen, and I look forward to that.
Clive, thanks for the time. We'll see you soon, my friend.
Okay, thank you.
Clive
so
Davis,
much.
ladies and gentlemen. All right, be well. Bye-bye.